This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
And welcome to the Latics Football Phone with me, Matt Dean.
And me, Sexy Dave.
Yeah. Have you got the link out there, Dave?
Yeah, just.
He forgot to put the link out for you to call in on, but it's in the chat
It's out.
on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Don't. I mean, it's not like we've got a special show tonight or anything, Dave.
No way. You're never gonna believe it.
Oh, you're never gonna guess who's on the show tonight.
Who is on the show?
You, me,
Yeah,
and every Latics fan's favourite Norwegian.
Torry Pedersen. No?
Go on, off you go.
It is the one, the only
Gunnar
Halle. He'll be joining us in the next 10 minutes or so. So if you really do want to call in, we're going to talk to Gunnar for a bit, and then we're going to get you to speak to Gunnar and ask some questions. So please call in. It's gonna be great.
As Chris says,
it's gonna be a great one.
Gonna be a great one. Yeah. So very quickly before we move on to Gunnar, let's just quickly mention the fact that we did win on the weekend.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, everyone said we were a bit negative on the podcast, didn't they?
I think not everybody said that, Dave.
Well, so Dave Butters did. Didn't
but yeah, we won. But look, we won. But it's you can't get too high when you win and too low when you lose, can you? Or
don't
when
get
you
too
draw
high or too low.
Dave, you've left your sausage roll on the table.
Oh,
it's just there behind you. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So that's Dave's
and that's tonight's prize.
Yeah.
So
it's a large pork sausage roll.
So whoever gets the best question to Gunnar, Gunnar's going to decide who the best question is, and we'll give them a sausage roll.
Unfortunately, if you are one of our overseas listeners, it will be this sausage roll, and it may or may not be edible.
Yeah, promises about storage can't be kept.
Yeah. So so if you got questions for Gunnar, then stick them in the comments or get in touch, phone in, because that's the name of the show. It's a phone in.
Yes, and we're going to just have a quick chat about the upcoming game against Yeovil as well. We've got 2 home games, Yeovil and Forest Green.
Yeah. Both have green on their kits.
Both from the southwest.
And
Carrot Crunchers.
You know, we've never beat Forest Green.
Never.
No.
All right.
We have beaten Yeovil, obviously.
Well,
we played them more often than we played Forest Green, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeovil are a bit of a yo-yo club, aren't they? So
Yeovil, the yo-yos.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, mate. This is the thing that this season. All right, we've drawn 5, not picked up as many points as we would have liked so far, but we've only lost 1. And I'm looking forward to the games as they come because I feel like we're on the cusp.
The crest of a wave.
Yeah, we just have a quick chat with Gunnar before, and we were just saying like things are a lot better and they're moving in the right direction. And I feel like this season now that we've got players coming back into the squad, it's going to be great. And so 2 games, 6 points could move us right up the table.
Yeah,
the table doesn't really matter at this stage, though, does it?
It always matters, and winning always matters.
You've got to keep it.
That's
you've got
football.
to stay in there, haven't you?
Yes. Well, we don't want to be asking. We don't want comments for Gunnar. We want to get people calling in.
Save the sausage roll for Forest Green.
Yeah, because they're all vegans.
That's just not nice. Should we just get on with it?
Yeah,
because otherwise, no one's interested in this, are they? To be quite honest with you.
Let's bring in Mr. Gunnar Halle.
Mr. Gunnar Halle. Hello.
Hello.
You're excited to be here?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So when you asked me to come on the show, of course, I would like to do that.
Well, you are a club legend and a legend for Norway as well. So it's an absolute honour for you to agree to come on the show, and you follow many other players such as Lee Duxbury, Andy Ritchie. I think you both played. Did you play with Duxbury? Lee Duxbury?
No, I didn't. Only with Andy.
Yeah. And your record as a player, and you were definitely started off as a right back, and then you went to right midfield, and then centre midfield in some aspects, and you went on to have an illustrious career at Leeds and Bradford, respectively, and you finished your career at Wolves. Am I right in saying you finished at Wolverhampton?
Yeah, that's right. And then I went back to Norway and played 1.5 years after that. But yeah, in England Wolverhampton was the last one. Yeah.
So as an Oldham player, you must have many great memories. And obviously, it was a bit before my time because I'm so young and youthful and good looking. Could you tell us about how you signed for the club? Because you came from Lillestrøm, didn't you? Back in 91.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I think obviously Joe Roll was looking for a fullback. Dennis Irving was leaving to Man United, and then obviously he played together with Age Hareide at Norwich, and they were good friends. And I think he asked him if he knew any fullbacks in Norway, so he recommended me. So and then they got in touch with me, and then I came over in December in '90, and then went on like a week's trial. I played a game against Scunthorpe, I think it was, and I scored from 30 yards, I think it was, and so I think that was a decision when I scored that goal. Then he wanted me. So, but he also mentioned to me later that he never seen me score after that.
Did you find it? Were you quite? Did you feel any pressure because you were replacing Dennis Irwin? You know that you were coming in potentially to replace one of the best right backs the Premier League had ever seen. Did that put any pressure on you?
He wasn't known as the best right back the Premier League had ever seen at that stage, though.
No,
he went on to become that, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he was brilliant even then.
No, I mean, I think I was quite happy, obviously, to get the offer to come over to England and play there. It was not that many Norwegians who's been over before me, so I took the chance, and obviously I had to get a work permit. That was a bit of a hassle to get a work permit as well, but because they stopped me at the airport straight away and said and asked me what I was going to do. I said I was going to play for Oldham Athletic. Yeah, but you need a work permit. So yes. So I was sitting at the airport for a few hours, and they said, "Yeah, if you don't get this work permit, Josh, then we send you back." So, but obviously I stayed there. So and yeah, for quite a few years.
How had Oldham Athletic, because Oldham the season before that had done really well in the cup competitions and played Man United and things like that. Had that news filtered over to Norway? Did people know about Oldham Athletic then, or was it still a bit too early before the Premier League and everything?
I think it was a little bit early, but of course when you play in the final, and then obviously it's a lot of people in Norway following English football at that time as well. So because I mean I can't remember when it started on television, when they had the Saturday games on telly, and that was a big thing in Norway, and more or less every person who was interested in football had a club in England that I was looking for and cheering for. So I think they knew a little bit about Oldham, but not so much. So I think that was a new club for them. They obviously they knew all the big ones like Man United, Liverpool, and all them. But I think Oldham was a little bit new for most of them. So yeah.
Was that the same for you as well? Was it a new to you?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I obviously didn't know so much about the club before I went over. Obviously, I knew a lot straight after, but and I think for me it was to start at Oldham, and obviously from the league in Norway. I think for me it was a good choice. It was not the biggest club. I started to play more or less straight away after I got my work permit. So, I mean, later we had some Norwegians coming over, and they went maybe to some bigger teams, but obviously they didn't play so much. So I think that was a good start for me to start at Oldham, and I really enjoyed my time there.
I have a really bad memory. I was at all the games pretty much that you played for us. I just have a really bad memory for games and things like that. But what I do remember was there was a video. I think it was the video from the season that we won the title after your first season, and they asked you what it was like adapting to the English game. And I remember you saying about the tempo being much faster than what you'd been used to. And obviously you were on that pitch as well, that plastic pitch. What was it like? What was that first season like for you as a pro? Not just compared, but I mean, it was obviously just an incredible season as well. So how did it all feel?
No, I think when I came in, obviously the team did really well, and obviously when I got my work, but I started to play as well. But I think for me the type of the way English team played was similar to what we did in Norway, but I still think the tempo was higher, so you have to do things quicker. So I think that's in the beginning was a little bit hard, but I think I got used to it quite quick. And also the AstroTurf was was a little bit was not the best ones. So, but obviously we had some AstroTurfs in Norway as well, so I knew a little bit about it. But I think if you compare that pitch to the new ones now, that was totally different.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the good thing about it was that if you're of a certain age like me, you was at school at the time, we got to play on the pitch because it was often used by the local schools, so we all can we know what it was like with bloody internet back. Yeah, we know it wasn't great. So yeah, it's come on a long way since then, thankfully.
Well, just looking at the Norway squad, and you said there was a lot of Norwegian players in the Premier League at the time. Like just looking at the 1994 World Cup squad, you had Erik Thorsved, Erland Johnson, Stig Inge Bjørneby, Orvin Leonardsen. I think he was at Rosenborg then, but he came a bit later to Wimbledon, didn't he? Jan Åge Fjørtoft, Frode Grådas, he went to Chelsea in the end, didn't he? Roger Nielsen, Flippinek, Alfinger Haaland, Henning Berg, and Lars Bohinen, and then Egil Olsen was the manager. So I bet it was like home from home, wasn't it? Every time you played in the Premier League, and then you went playing with the Norwegian squad, because it was people you saw pretty much every other week in the teams.
Yeah, I mean we played as you said more or less every weekend. We played against a Norwegian player, so it's that was a little bit strange maybe. But I think after we qualified for the World Cup in '94, and also when we played England in our group, obviously then I think a lot of players went abroad, and a lot of went to England, and so I think that at that time, I think the clubs, the coaches, and was looking more to Norwegian football than they did before. And of course, when we succeeded a little bit in the beginning, and we played, and I think most of the coaches was quite happy with us. So then I think then more and more came. So I think at one stage when I remember we had a party in Manchester, and then I think we were like 25, 30 players there. So who was playing all over in England. So that was quite a lot, and I think at that time most of them played in the team as well. And later we also had a lot of Norwegians, but at one stage they didn't play so much in the teams. Obviously now at the moment we have some really good ones who is playing. So but in the beginning it was I think the way the first place did, and how we behaved and how we played, it was and also how we did with the national team had some effect that a lot of players went to England.
Yeah, I was just looking at your first goal for Oldham Athletic. That was against Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest as well, and in a 5-3 win. How did that feel, getting your first goal? Because it was. I bet it was amazing at home, and it was the first win of the season as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think I played against Stuart Pearce as well. So I think that was. I still remember that. So that was something. that it will stay in my memory. So and also, as you said, I think I can remember. Yeah, we had support in Norway as well in the stadiums, but I think the atmosphere, the people, the supporters behind the stand, how the noise was, that was fantastic, and obviously that was something I was maybe not used to, but I think straight away I got that feeling when you had that noise behind you. That was then you gave a little bit more.
Was there any similarities to Lillestrøm and Oldham? I know the different levels of football, and it was the Premier League and the Norwegian League. But were there similarities with the people, the culture, the towns, anything like that you could put your finger on?
Yeah, but as I said, I think what should I say, the style of play was similar in Norway to what they did in England. I think, as I said, the tempo was maybe a little bit higher, and obviously they have stronger squads, stronger teams, so we have to work harder and be better. But I think for me the culture was a little bit the same, and for me to move to England was not so strange or new. Obviously the language and everything, and a little bit maybe the food, but I think it's was quite easy to adapt when I came over.
Good stuff. Well, we've got a couple of our regular callers waiting to join us. So let's chat with Michael first of all. He was first in the queue. Hello, Michael.
All right, pal.
Yeah.
Hi.
Michael's always very chill, Gunnar. He's always there in his dressing gown or a onesie, just like combing his hair. Very chill.
Yep.
Welcome to the show again, Michael. Fire away, mate. Have you got a question for Gunnar?
Just a quick question. What was it like to honour and play for Oldham Athletic?
No, I mean, for me, it was, as I said before on the show, I think when I came over to England, that was something special. And you played, what should I say, in front of bigger crowds. I think as I said, the style of play was similar to what I was used to in Norway, but obviously the standard was better, the tempo was higher. So for me, it was really great to because I've been watching English football on television. I mean, and that was something we did, and we had favorites clubs and everything. And when we were at school, we were playing like Keegan or whatever. So for me, it was what should I say? Something I was dreaming of, maybe, but I didn't think I was going to do that when I was younger. But you always have a dream. So I think when I started there, that was something I didn't think was going to happen. But as I said, it was every time I went out on Bandy Park, it was great because I mean, you have these supporters behind the goal and good support. I mean, the ground was not so big, but it was quite intimate, and that was good. So I don't think many teams was looking forward to come to Bandy Park, and especially with the AstroTurf.
Can you remember what it was like how you felt? I mean, when you're just describing that now, and you imagine that young boy playing football in Norway and dreaming, and then you're out there on the pitch playing against famous English clubs in another country. Does it kind of, are you focusing on the game and everything that you've been, or do you find yourself just thinking, wow?
Yeah, but I think you're focusing a lot on the game, and I think for me it was you didn't really think so much wow when you were going out on the pitch, because then I think you wouldn't have done so well. But for me, when you're thinking back on it, and I think when I was there, when I started, everything was new. I was looking forward to start to play and be in that league. So. As I said, I've seen it on television and with the big crowds and everything. So that was something I was really looking forward to. So for me, after a couple of years, I think when it was a lot of people in the crowd, in the stand, then I think it was better for me. So I really enjoyed when it was full house and it was good noise, and especially when the supporters from the other team was screaming at you, and that was good.
well, one notable game that you were part of was the Great Escape against Southampton, and you scored, didn't you? Which effectively, kept us up that season. What was the pressure like going into that game, and how did the game feel? Because
but I think that was of course a pressure game, but also some of the games before was a pressure games. So maybe we were living a little bit on the edge in the last few games there, and then but I think everybody thought that we could win it, because we at home we can beat anybody really. So and obviously we had a fantastic start to the game, and we were leading 4-1, and then obviously Latics scored 2 more, so then it was a little bit, I think it was 5-6 minutes left, and then it was a little bit chaotic in the end. But so
I bet you felt like strangling Matt Letizia, didn't you? Like,
I know, especially when you look quite comfortable, and when you're leading there, but obviously when they got 4-2 and then they got 4-3, then they only, and you know that if we win that game, then we stay up. So that was something special, and especially after as well, it was fantastic. So I think for me, it was obviously we were happy, and everybody else in the staff and everybody in the club, and but to see the supporters, the joy and enjoyment they had after the game, for a small club in start of their journey on the top level, then that was fantastic.
Yeah, Michael, you were obviously far too young to remember. I remember being at that game, and I remember the nerves as the game went on. But have you watched the videos and looked back on this era, Michael, yourself?
I've not looked back on like the dislike side. I watched obviously some highlights from like the United and our game in the semi-final, but that's one of the furthest ones I've ever watched. Not like being offensive to you, but I've never actually watched any of his highlights. But
yeah,
you'll see Gunnar's haircut. It's like a bowl cut, a bit like yours, Michael. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, you will see you will see quite a few different hairstyles in that time.
It's a bit like Ian Marshall's.
Yeah. That kind of brings on. So, like the question here from Joe Dunk, some characters in the Latics squad that you were part of. What was it like, the dressing room culture, and the kind of characters? Did you find it easy to fit in, or there was some crazy guys in that squad? I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was some crazy guys, and I mean, you had Rick Holden was there for a while, and Ian Marshall, as you said, and but I think for me it was in the beginning it was a little bit difficult because you have the Scousers and the Scottish guys and the Irish guys, and sometimes I felt when they were talking quick and they're having some jokes, then I didn't really get everything, but of course after a little while. Then I started to understand them a little bit more. So, and of course, when you see, was watching television with the comedians and stuff, then you notice a little bit more. So then you can understand them a little bit. But yes, we had some good, great guys in there. So it's yes.
Who was one of your favourite players to play with, like in an Oldham shirt? Who did you enjoy playing with the most?
I think for me, obviously, I played with Richard Jobson at the back there. Earl Barrett was good. Andy Barlow played a lot with. So, but I think the easiest one to play with when I was a fullback, and then with Andy Ritchie, as you had on the show before, I think. So he knew the game, and I think he knew a little bit how I wanted to play. So for me to play with him was I enjoyed playing with him, and also when Graham Sharp came later, he was a good, little bit same type of play where we easy to understand each other. So, but I think we had some good players there, and so I think we had a good bunch of guys who was working hard together, because we need that to be a team. So
I think it's hard to sort of explain to somebody as young as Michael how good some of those players were that you mentioned. Like, Richard Jobson was just superb. He never looked. He was such a calm player. He was so he seemed so controlled.
Craig Fleming as well.
And he was just brilliant. And Earl Barrett, and players that could play in different positions as well. Like Earl Barrett could play fullback or centre half, and Paul Warhurst could play at different positions. And honestly, Michael, it's just we've never come close since then to having players of the odd player here and there, but these players were really, really good.
Alex Ferguson said about Craig Fleming he was the best man marker in Europe, didn't he? That's what he said about Craig Fleming. He said he was the best man marker, and in that semi-final against Man United, he kept I think he was marking Giggs for pretty much most of the game, because he told him, I think Joe Rolder said, mark Giggs and just try and follow him as best you can.
Ryan Giggs.
Yeah.
It's not Mark.
Sorry, Ryan Giggs. And
Mark Giggs.
Yeah, so Craig Fleming was outstanding, and he's signed him from Halifax Town. So we were finding hidden gems like Gunnar. You had Mike Milligan as well, who was obviously outstanding. It's just the memories.
It's just the thing is, Gunnar, we tonight,
nostalgia, isn't it?
Tonight, Man City are playing Inter Milan in the Champions League, and some of these players that we're talking about, Earl Barrett and Rick Calder, we signed them from no, we didn't sign not Rick Calder, but we signed some of these players from City.
We re-signed him
from City. But the difference between where we are now and where City are, and how much closer it was back then, is just difficult for someone as young as Michael to realise that we could go out and beat City. They used to beat us at Boundary Park. We used to beat them.
I think at that time we beat them every week.
Yeah, and now it's just almost. They've got a very famous Norwegian apparently who plays up front for them, who's quite good.
He's not bad.
He's not bad. No,
he's not Gunnar Halle.
He's not. No. So it was it's crazy. But then you've got the fortunes that your previous clubs were. Michael, we won't leave you there on the screen, mate. Thanks for getting in touch, pal.
Okay.
See you in a bit. Look at the clubs that the clubs that you used to play for. Look at Bradford. Huge club, huge stadium. They're struggling in League Two, aren't they? And Leeds have been on a bit of a journey. They've been down to League One, and they're up and they're down all the time. It's English football is a very unforgiving place, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's so many clubs who wants to get up there and wants to get promoted to be in the Premier League, because you see the kind of money in the game now is unbelievable, and of course you got a lot of investors coming in from abroad, bringing a lot of money into the game. So it's a lot at stake, and if you can, I think if you can. Small club, if you can get that level or ladder to get up there, then obviously then you can make something great. So I think it's a lot of clubs who dreaming of to get up there and get that sort of money into the club as well. So and if you see as well, in the stadium now, it's a lot of people watching, and it's a little bit of crazy money, I must say.
It's ridiculous.
We've got a question from Glyn Busby. He said, "What was your favourite ever game for Oldham?"
Hello, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, I think obviously as the game we talked about with the Southampton was a good one, and I also remember the other ones with Liverpool and Aston Villa away. Yeah, I think probably the Aston Villa game, because the way it was set up and we made it, and everything around the game, after the game. So I think that maybe was something. But also when I came the first year when we got promoted against Sheffield Wednesday. I think also was something.
Goodness. Did you come up against John Sheridan in that game? Because obviously he was in and around the Sheffield Wednesday team, wasn't he? And how was John Sheridan to play against?
Yeah, no. So I mean, I think that game as well was something special, and obviously we got promoted, and the crowd and everything. And I remember we were on the bus after in the city centre. I mean, it was thousands coming out on the streets, and that's something that will stay in my memory for the rest of my life. So that was fantastic.
Just as look, our show gets all over the world with people watching in Mexico. Our person watching in Mexico. Hello. But you were mentioned briefly before the phoning started when we were chatting about how the club is now compared to where it was, and you were asking about the crowd sizes and things like that. And you obviously played for Oldham at its pinnacle in terms of its success, but the appetite for the football club is still really strong in the town, and there is still huge potential within. I mean, you've seen like Michael, there's lots of young fans who have never seen anything, and they still come along, and there's so hopefully Oldham can. I don't think I mean, I don't like to rule it out, but the chances of getting into the Premier League again are quite small, I think, with the money required. But never say never. But I think we could certainly make it back up to the Championship again, and hopefully some of these younger fans will have some fine memories to look forward to against some of the bigger clubs, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Playing the bigger clubs a bit more often,
You played
I think when you have a crowd like you said, you mentioned like 7,000-8,000. So I think that's fantastic. So So when you are in that league, so I think that's fantastic. So then I think hopefully they can get promoted maybe this year or next year. So then they can get a little bit higher. So I think that will be great for all them again.
You played under three managers at Oldham Athletic: Joe Royal, and then Graham Sharp as player manager. Then he became manager, and then lastly Neil Warnock. I'm going to touch on each of the managers. So, firstly, with Joe Royal, what was Joe like, and what was so special about him, and how did he manage you as a player? Obviously, coming from a different country, was he understanding? Was he a good man-to-man manager?
Yeah, for me, I mean, for when he brought me over, I think I have a lot to thank him for, really. So when he brought me over to the club, and I think I developed being at Oldham and English football, and I stayed there for nearly 12 years. So for me, it was something I always will look back on and thank him for that he brought me over. So hopefully I gave something back to him as well. But I think he was good. He was an offensive manager. I think he wants to score goals. Obviously, sometimes we were maybe going too much forward, and we were conceding goals. But I think him and Willie Donachie, who was there as well, I think there was a good two guys who was working good together, and with maybe a group who maybe other teams didn't, or people didn't expect to be up there. So I think he got the group together to work as a team, and I think that was really important, that it was working really, really hard for each other to win. And so he made that atmosphere among the squad, and I think that was I mean, for me, it was, I wanted to play for the manager, not just for the supporters, but also for the manager. And I think that's something, when you have that, and you can be or a manager can be like that, when the players think like that, then I think you have done something right. Because I've been in football now, and not every player thinks like that. So but because when you want to die and for the manager, or really, really play for him as well, I think that's important. So and he was the type like that. Gunnar,
you're a manager now. How influential have I get you play. You were saying before you played for managers like George Graham as well as the managers that Dare's mentioned. Do your players play for you? Do they want to die for you? Are you able to? Are you able to
I hope
deliver
so,
that?
But I mean, you will always take something from the manager you've been playing for before, and obviously then you have your own stuff you need to get forward to the players. So for me, is to find that right path for myself, really. So yes, with Joe and also with George Graham, I think he was also a good manager because he had the way he was working, especially defensively. I have maybe some of the coaches with Egil Drill Olsen. I had my previous coach who was at Lillestrøm, my first coach, Tom Lund. He was. I learned quite a lot from him when I was started to into the senior teams. So I mean I can take a little bit from each, and hopefully now I've learned something from them, and I can bring that into my place. So so far this season we haven't lost, so that's good.
Very good, yeah.
So when Big Joe left for Everton, you were playing alongside Graham Sharp, and what was that transition of being having a teammate in the squad for them to then become the boss? How did you find that? Was that a difficult situation for you and the other players?
I mean, it can be quite difficult sometimes, but I think Graham was. I mean, he was respected from more or less all the players. So I think that was maybe easier because he had done really well before. He came to all them, and he was well respected. So I think that was maybe easier because sometimes it can be quite difficult if you are a player and go straight to the manager because then you need to have some distance and how you're working with the players, of course. So. But I think that obviously for me it was no problem to work with Graham, and I really enjoyed playing with him. So, but of course, I think it was a little bit strange for him as well in the beginning to be the manager. So, I mean, it's not just do like that and then everything is working. So it's I think he needed to find his way and as well. So. Yeah, so I mean, sometimes it's maybe not the best way to do it, but at that time, obviously, they decided to do that way, and yeah, for me, it was no problem.
Yeah, and then obviously you had the very quiet, very humble Neil Warnock after.
I didn't have him.
Did you
No,
not?
I left before that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a bit of a.
Yeah, I know he's quiet.
But obviously, when you touched on Leeds, what was like you mentioned George Graham in terms of his defensive work? What was he like as a person? Because when I've seen like highlights of him, he seems like a very fierce, very demanding sort of manager. Because I'm so intrigued.
He was demanding, but for me, I also had a good relationship to him, and I think as long as you did your job and was working hard and did what he wanted, so then was no problem. But of course, at least we had a few different players who, when he came, and some had troubles, so some had to go. But for me, he was a manager who was, as I said, had a good relationship to him, and it was working well. So, and I think also he at that time Leeds needed a manager who needed to get the group together, stop conceding goals because they had conceded too many goals, really. So and to organize the team, he was good. So I think that was a perfect match for Leeds at that time, I think. So and obviously we did better. I think we came 12th the first season, and then we got 4th or something the second season.
I'm going to get in trouble in a minute off of the Oldham fans, but I am intrigued about your Leeds career, because you played with the likes of Tony Yeboah as well, and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. What were they like to train with? I bet if they were doing, you would do some defensive work against them two who could hit the ball very, very hard and shoot from anywhere. Was it? I bet that certainly tested you, didn't it?
I didn't play so long with Yeboah, but yeah, he was there a little while. So, but of course, he had a fantastic shot, and I mean, he was not moving so well at that time. But I think when you see some of his goals he scored, it was fantastic. Jimmy was also the same when he came from Holland. He can shoot with the left, right. He also needed to adapt to the English game, I think, because he was obviously physical, and he was not used to that physical, I think. He was strong, but he needed to find the right way to move. But of course, he scored some great goals, but he needed to have the ball straight on his foot. If it was half a yard outside, then he was screaming at you.
What's it like going from a club like Oldham, where we were punching above our weight, and there wasn't a great deal of expectation on us, to go into a club with such a massive history as Leeds? Is it from as a player? What's expected of you? What's the difference when you go to a club like that?
No, I think the expectations is a lot higher. I mean, Leeds was a club, or are a club, that everybody expected to be on the top, and they done so well before. So I think the expectations was bigger, and you needed to do well. If not, you get a crowd on your back. But I think also the supporters was fantastic at Leeds as well. So, but I think I think also among the staff and the players, the expectations was high. So for me, I think that was probably the biggest thing. And obviously, you played again in front of 40,000, 42,000 every week.
We've had some joy going to Leeds and beating them.
Yeah, we always tend to beat Leeds when we go this. It's always nice. So obviously, you scored, I think, 17 goals for Oldham, and obviously you mentioned the goal against Southampton. But is there any other goals that stick in your mind that are probably your favourite goals?
But as I said, also the one against Nottingham Forest, because that was the first one. I probably think, and also the Southampton game, even that wasn't a good goal, but it was still a goal. But it was important. So I think that's something you will remember. So it's.
I remember your last goal against Oxford United. I watched it on YouTube the other day, and in the stripy red kit, and it's like about 25 yards out, and it was on the right foot, top corner, and it was an absolute peach of a goal, and it was quite reminiscent. Like, I remember watching it live and then watching it again, and then realizing the next game you weren't going to be there, and I think I weren't emotional, but it was just quite like the feeling I remember when my dad told me that you'd gone to Leeds, because it was probably the worst kept secret that Gunnar Halle was going to Leeds, because I think everyone knew about a month before it was inevitable it was going to happen, but it was just quite sad in the situation the club was in the time. We weren't getting the results, and we were going to lose one of our best players. It was always
I mean, I was actually leaving a little bit before. I mean, some weeks before they came in for me, and then obviously I agreed a deal with them, but then they lost against Man United, I think it was, on Saturday, and then I went for a medical on Sunday up there, and then Monday morning I went into Oldham, and I got my boots and said goodbye to everybody. Then when I came home, then I got a phone, and they said Howard Wilkinson had got a sack, so the deal is off. So Tuesday morning, I went back to Oldham with my boots and trained. And then we went a few weeks later. Then obviously the deal went on. So
yeah, I remember you used to play in Lotto boots with the green Lotto sign, and I always said to my dad, like, please can I have a pair of Lotto boots, and we could never get any in my size, and I always wanted a pair of Gunnar Halle like Lotto boots because it was always one thing I remembered about you when you played. But yeah, you're an amazing player. And it was, honestly,
I still got them, I think. So it's.
I'll see you in Norway next week. I'll come and get the shirt and the boots then. No problem.
Yeah.
There's a few people said that there should be a Hønefoss. Is that how you pronounce it? Am I pronouncing it right?
Hønefoss. Yeah.
Hønefoss. A Hønefoss Oldham friendly in the summer. How does that sound? Do you think that? Do you think
that sounds good? That sounds so good. You can come to Norway, and then that will be fine. That will be good. We have to come to Oldham.
Yeah, we'll do it like an Intertoto Cup sort of 2-legged affair, and we'll get a trophy or something like that.
Sounds good. That I'm up for that. Chris wants to know where you lived when you played for Latics.
No, first I lived in near Tandle Hill, the park.
Yeah.
So in Newark Parkway, I remember. So and then I moved to Littleborough for a little while, and then when I went to Leeds, I also lived on that side. So, but first I lived near Tandle Hill. Yeah.
Right. So who was it somebody wants to know if you're still in touch with any of the players that you played with while you were at Latics. Oh, it's Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. Obviously, I wish I would have gone more often over to England. Obviously, when I'm managing myself, and I was playing when I was home earlier, so it's not time to go in the weekends. But yeah, I haven't had so much. I spoke to Richard Jobson a little while ago, and it's a little while since I've seen somebody now, so I would like to come over.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my distinctive memories of Richard, I've probably said this before, but hearing John Hallworth shout "Jobbo, Jobbo," as I can hear it so vividly from being in the paddock. I don't know. It's just like one of my claims. I remember random things being about football.
Well, I used to love Paul Gerrard and John Hallworth, and they were two very good keepers. And I'm not going to ask you who, in your opinion, was better, but who did you? What was it like having those two? Because Paul Gerrard was an under-21 England keeper, and John Hallworth was an absolute shot stopper, magnifique, wasn't he? Really, what was it like to play with those two guys?
No, but I think they kept you on your toes, and I think also with when Paul came on, and obviously he pushed John as well. So yeah, I think that was good for him to keep him on his toes. So and Paul obviously went off to, I think was it Everton or
yes.
So I mean he did well. So it's I think we had two goalkeepers who was shouting quite a bit. So especially John.
Well, we've got one of our regular callers waiting in the wings here. Ibby's I'll bring him in. Ibby can ask you a question. Hi, Ibby.
Evening, guys. You okay?
Yeah, you.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm all right. Gunnar, it's lovely to see you. You're a club legend.
Thank you.
And wherever you've been in football, we always remember you. And you had very good playing career with every club that you played for.
Yes, thank you.
You did.
What question do you have for him, Ibby?
I've got one question to him. A few questions. Firstly, he's doing well in management. Would he ever consider coming back and managing Oldham if that option did come up?
Yes, definitely. So that should have come before.
And that's good to hear. And the second question is, who was the hardest player that you faced on the football pitch?
Oh, that's difficult, I think. But when I played as a right back, most often, then obviously you played against like Ryan Giggs, Ginola. But obviously you had some strikers. Cantona was there, and what should I say? Bergkamp.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, did you play against Henri? Was he?
Yeah. And also, I mean, I remember that was with Leeds. I think we played at Arsenal. I think it was in the FA Cup or in the League Cup, and I was told by George Graham to man-mark Ian Wright. So I did that, and we won 1-0, and I was just shaking his hand after, but he didn't want to take my hand. So because I was following him all the time, every time. So I just gave him the 0. So then he went mad. So then so no, but I think I played a lot. I mean, it's difficult to name just one play, but it was that many. It was good. But
did you play in that Boxing Day game against Man United when it was 6-3 at Boundary Park?
No, I was injured, I think, then.
Yeah, because that Andre Conchelsis down the right gave Andy Barlow hell, and Ryan Giggs down the left-hand side. It was just.
Yeah.
They were
It
was a great game of football. So what? I mean, obviously we got beat, but there was some deadly wingers, and I guess back then there was more wingers, wasn't there, to be up against than there is now.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, the way the teams played was like more. They wanted the crosses from the sides and maybe overlaps from the fullbacks, but it was more wing play and the crosses coming in really. So so you had more wingers. Today you have wingers, but they may be more. You can adapt more and play inside or outside. So it's
And did you have to mark Rick Holden in any games? Thinking about it,
I think when he was at City, I think we played against him. Yes. So, but he was easy to mark, so that was fine.
Have you got any more questions, Ibby?
No, mate. Thank you very much for holding the show with Gunnar, and hopefully he'll come on show again.
I will come over.
Thanks, Ibby.
Thank you. Cheers.
Take care,
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Talking about the opposition players you played against, did any player ever get like under your skin and get in your head? And you like sort of, because you seem like quite a calm player and you seem like a very calm sort of guy, but did anyone ever get under your skin? Sort of,
no, I mean, I remember I had a Paul Gascoigne when he played at was it Burnley? I think it was. He played for them just a year or something, and then he was one character. So it's I think he got me a little bit then, but I mean, normally I was quite calm, but on the pitch I could be quite tough as well. So it's but Ian Wright, yes, that was a good contest. So it's.
Did you enjoy that element of it, the physicality and those battles that you have to win, those 1-to-1 battles?
Yeah, and I think that was, of course, still part of the game. So that you win, you need to win your battle and against one and things like that. So, so definitely yes, and I think when I came to England, then I think the what should I say, the physicality was maybe even tougher because obviously the referee let it go a little bit more than what it used to now. So it's so I think the tackles was a little bit harder and tougher and things like that. But yes, that was part of the game. And when I see some of the tackles from games at that time, then you would not really believe it, but that wouldn't happen today.
I know. I mean, it's completely different now. I mean, like the kind of wages that players are on in the Premier League now are obviously huge, but you were taking your life in your hands playing when you were playing, you know, compared to now.
The
physicality, the tackles. It was such a more physical game. There was some real sort of hard men in the game back then. So I think you had to be tough to survive playing on the pitch.
Yeah, and I think that was also something I remember Joe said to me that after, I think it was at half time, that I needed to come on, you need to be tougher, because if not, you're not going to play out there. So, so I think that was one of the earliest games. I remember it told me that, and then of course then I need to step up and also do it out myself. So it's so I think that I got used to that, and but I think now obviously with the referees and the rules now, tackles from behind you don't see that so much more. So
no. Got a question from Mark. He wants to ask if you remember being sent off v Luton. And you looked heartbroken. If you do remember, can you remember what you got sent off for?
Yeah, but I think that was at home. I think so. And I think it was, I shouldn't have been sent off. It was another one who should have been sent off. Actually,
you would say that.
Right. No, but that's actually true. So it was not me. So so he did a mistake. I think that was against Luton.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
What's got a question from Rob? What's your opinion on VAR? What do you think? Because the game, when you think about things like this now, and you look back to when you were playing, it has changed quite a lot, hasn't it? There's a lot of changes that have happened in the game, and that's.
And I mean, I think the problem with the VAR is that it takes so much time, and I think if they can sort that out a little bit more, then I think it's good. I mean, here in Norway, they don't want it anymore. All the supporters, they want to get it away. But I still think it's if they can, what should I say? Don't use so much time on decisions as they've done before. Now maybe it's a little bit better now. So I mean, it's I don't think that will go away. Actually,
no, I don't think it will. No, I think it's here to stay.
I think. As I say, I think it's better. I think it's better for the game.
Dave's a qualified referee, by the way. So
there's nothing wrong with that. No ref, no game, Gunnar. No ref, no game.
No, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I think it is better for the game because the financial implications for a wrong decision now could be catastrophic for clubs like Oldham, Hunderfoss, or whoever, at the lower ebb. If it happens to Manchester City or Man United, it's not.
We don't have VAR at our level, though, do we?
No, but I'm just saying. But as and when it goes up, I think that time and.
I don't like it. I
know you don't.
It's
you're a football purist.
I'm a purist and a romantic. But I also like life. You can't take.
Oh,
life isn't perfect. Nothing's perfect.
I'm a romantic.
Nothing's perfect. Like everything needs to have its margin of error and its flaws, and it's you can't trying to make things perfect all the time doesn't work. Football, we all fell in love with football years ago when it was imperfect, when the pitches were crap, it was muddy, it was more physical. Football, we love it anyway. So that's my opinion on it. Do you know what I mean?
What? I was going to ask a question. Oh, San Marino hat trick. Talk to me about that. I'm really interested in that one because
you're
in Erling Haaland's level now because he scored 3.
I know.
So.
Yeah, obviously that was a qualifying game with Norway, and we played at Ullevål in Oslo, and we won 10-0. So that was a hat trick. So I mean, it was one of the hardest oppositions we had.
Yeah.
No.
They've
so
only
obviously that was a game, but we won 10-0, and that will always stay there. And I think that was something for us as well to win 10-0. I mean, it's not often you do that, so to score that many goals. So even if they were not so good side, but still got that hat trick, so that's fine.
Do you know how many Norwegians have scored hat tricks for the national team? Are you quite a small list of players, is it?
Yeah, it's not that many. I don't actually know exactly, but I don't know, 6, 7, 8 maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's a good little list to be on, isn't it? So, yeah. Well, listen, we're coming up to the hour, Mark, Dave. Oh, Dave, we haven't played any of our adverts.
Oh, goodness me. We're going to subject Gunnar to a couple of our adverts.
We usually chuck in some adverts, but because while we've got you on the show, we figured we might get some quite good numbers watching the show. So we thought it'd be good to chuck in the adverts. So we're just going to chuck in a quick advert here for the Christmas do. Dave,
Yes.
Is it too early to talk about Christmas?
It's never too early to talk about the festive season of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Mum and Dave. The thing is that I think we're going to get quite a big audience on the phone in tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're going to holler and all that.
Absolutely.
So I thought it might be a good idea to sneak in mentioning the Quizmas party we've got on the 15th of December at Billington's in Oldham.
You've slipped it right in there.
I thought it'd be a good opportunity to just lube it up and just let it get in there.
Nice.
Anyway, our Quizmas party is going to be a quiz and a party.
With entertainment, fun, special guests, and a superb quiz by Matt and Sexy Dave.
It's going to be like no other Quizmas event you've ever been to.
And how much is it?
£16.50, and you get food and all that aforementioned fun.
Drink?
Well, there will be drink there, but I'm not paying for
it's Sunday as well, isn't it?
Sunday sesh, Dave.
Sunday session.
We're at home to Wilston on the Saturday,
The 14th.
the 14th.
How many drinks have you had?
That was a few. What a two.
So join us at Billingdon's on the
Yeah.
15th of December, Sunday, 4 till 8.
For our Quizmas party. Tickets are available from weareoldham.co.uk/shop. It's a bit early to be talking about the C word, but we thought we'd get it in there just in case we had quite a few people watching. And, why not? Rob reckons that it's the best show ever listening to you, Gunnar. So there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, here's another question. Does Gunnar eat that strange smelling fish? Is that Swedish, is it? Or is that Norwegian?
We got quite a few strange smelling fishes here, so I don't know which one it is. It's
Bob likes rag pudding, so I don't know if you've ever tried rag pudding from Oldham.
There's quite a few videos going around on social media of people opening the tin of that fermented, stinky heron stuff. And
I don't like that. No, definitely
no. It looks repulsive, to be honest. Yeah, horrible. So listen,
if you're available on the 15th of December and you fancy a trip to England, Gunnar, you can come to our Christmas party as a special guest. We'll buy you a half.
Do you have a winter break over there in Norway for the season? Sure.
Yeah, actually, we only got 5 games left, so we finished the end of October, and then we will train a little bit longer, and then we probably have the whole December off, and then we start again in January, and the season doesn't start before beginning of April.
I think we just confirmed our first guest. Only kidding.
Yeah. Have you been back to Oldham since back into the region since you moved back to Norway?
Yeah, I've been back. Yeah, but it's a while ago since I've been there now. So I would really like to come back and watch the game, and so I will definitely try and do that. So see if I can do it maybe this in November, December, maybe.
Yeah,
so
that'd be brilliant.
December the 14th would be really good,
Yeah, brilliant.
What was I going to say before? Yeah, so I'm just having a look at hat-trick. So in the modern era, so from 1992 onwards, there's only been 8 players: Orvin Leonardsen, Gunnar Halle, Jan Argafjotov, Kjetil Rekdal, Tori Andre Flaw, Stefan Evertsen, Elanusi, Ola Kamara, and Erling Haaland, and Josh King. So you're in good company there. I know.
Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, Gunnar. Thank you so much for joining us. We really, really do appreciate it. And I know that it's been a real a real. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but the fans of Oldham have really enjoyed it. The people who watched you play, there's quite a few people saying you're looking great as well for your age. You're saying a few people saying they're going to move to Norway because it's obviously good for the aging process. None of us are getting any younger, but some of us look older than others.
You do,
That's
don't you?
true, isn't it? So, but yeah, I mean, it seems like it doesn't seem like that long ago since we were watching you play for Oldham, but it's a few years ago now, isn't it?
It's been a real pleasure, and you've been so accommodating. I just emailed you on Instagram, and literally within 2 minutes, you came straight back and said, 100%, I'll do it. And I was like, flipping out. It was like, then I was like, I'm talking to Gunnar Halle. And then, that's like, you're talking to
Yeah,
Gunnar
no,
Halle.
I mean, of course, I would like to come back to Oldham, and as I said, I would like to come to a game as well. So, I will definitely do that. So, I will let you know, and then hope we can meet up, and then.
It'd be a pleasure.
It's always. It will be nice to come back to Boundary Park as well. So even if they're a little bit lower now, so hopefully they will get up again. So I'm looking forward to that. So and it's great to be on the show, and thanks for that.
Thanks very much, Gunnar. Ladies and gentlemen, Gunnar Halle.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Cheers, Gunnar. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye. Brilliant.
Oh,
what a lovely chat.
What a lovely chat.
What a lovely chat. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Thanks for the memories, Gunnar. Indeed. So yeah. So well done, Dave.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to mither him that hard.
Oh, I did. No, I didn't. It was 2 minutes, which bodes well for certain men. But yeah, it was great. Listening to a legend, you're talking to a legend, and again, maybe one day.
Maybe he'll be the mystery guest in our mystery guest round at our Christmas party.
Well, yes. And talking about the mystery guest, the Christmas party, Jenny Tyler has said, "Who's setting the questions?" You're looking at them.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's not just your typical.
It's not
quiz.
going to be just be Latics questions either. It's going to be a whole.
And as I did go to Hume,
thing.
you best get read it up and educated, because.
Hey, Dave.
What?
It's hot new merch, sexy merch. It's hot new merch. It's sexy, sexy, sexy merch.
Visit weareoldham.co.uk/shop now to see our brand new range of hot, sexy merch.
It's hot new merch, sexy merch. It's hot new merch. It's sexy, sexy, sexy merch.
Sorry.
Yeah, and just while we're on the selling side of things, if you want to buy us a coffee. Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage?
Ooh.
What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave a
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/weareoldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Oh, thank you, listeners.
Right, so who's next on your hit list, Dave? Who do you want to get on the show?
There's so many. And who won the sausage roll? Glenn. You won it.
No, it was that guy in It was that guy in Melbourne.
Oh, sorry, Glenn.
Sorry, Glenn.
But if he wants to donate it to you, Glenn, then we'll sort it out.
Yeah, but Dave did bring it. He wasn't down his pants when he brought it, so you may or may not want it. Yeah. So thanks for watching the Latics Football Phone-In. This Saturday we've got Yeovil.
Yes.
So then we'll have the podcast on Monday as usual.
Yes.
And then, Dave, it's Forest Green on Tuesday night. So we will be pulling apart the bits and pieces from Saturday and Tuesday on the phone in next Wednesday.
Will it be 4 points? Will it be 1 point? Will it be 0 points? Or will it be 6 points?
We're all 5 points. Oh, no, you can't have 5 points, can you?
No.
8 points.
What, from 2 games? Cascamore Education, everybody. Best in the world.
Best in the world. Thanks for watching. See you next time we see you. Where's the...
I don't know.
Why does it say... Bye.
Bye.
The Latics Football Phone-In is a QPod production for We Are Oldham, dedicated fan media. If you'd like to know more about QPod, visit kupod.co.uk.